Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is the join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Well, we're just a few hours away from the hearing with regard to the appeal that was submitted by the Lungu family in South African court. So some of the news headlines, as you can see there, the mass newspaper reports the United Party for National Development, UPND, has scored a first. Cadres are celebrating the death of an ex-president, Sinkamba. So pretty much addressing to say those videos have been condemned. If you remember, even Nebas Mumba, MMD president, also condemned the actions of those UPND cadres. And it seems like within the party also there was that condemnation. So people are just retaliating the same point, saying, no, that behavior was uncalled for and Zambian, pretty much. So, and then also there's a caption there that you say, guide haka in the Ichilema. Changala councils Nebas and Nebas Mumba and Enoch Kavindere, simply saying, no, they are supposed to provide counsel to the sitting head of state because those are the ones that have access. If you remember, both of them have been chosen as envoys in various capacities. Earlier on, Nebas Mumba was sent to Zimbabwe as an envoy for the SADC, nominated by President Hakainde Hichilema. And then in the recent negotiations between the government and the Lungu family, Enoch Kavindere was the head of that envoy, the one those talks that failed. So Shangala is simply saying they should provide guidance. But then again, when it comes to providing counsel guidance, it's very subjective because you cannot say they have not been advising the president. It's just that the advice that probably they are giving is one that he, Shangala, does not agree with. So that does not negate the fact that no, the president is listening to them, or they're not providing leadership. It's just that he does not agree with what they're advising, allegedly. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Everyone's entitled to their opinion as it stands. But with regard to Edgar Lungu's case that is coming up in a few hours, as you may be aware, 15th August has been set as the hearing with regard to the appeal case for the family, with regard to the verdict which was in favor of the Zambian government, which has been submitted. So just in a few hours, and videos have been circulating, obviously remembering the former head of state, and this is one of them.
Chinshimabana Jajitika Mushiavana Toriba Chinshi Jajitika Mashinda Mashia Shusa Shitoriba Chinshi Jamadama Kambowe Shiavana Toriba.
The children will be followed by the parents and in-laws.
So obviously, that's one of the videos that have been circulating, remembering the former head of state. But Tambala Mwewa had this opinion to say, common sense tells me that the application for appeal will be thrown out tomorrow. So he's giving his 2 cents with regard to what's going to happen in the Pretoria court, because there are 2 issues that have been that are going to be presented tomorrow. One of them is where the Lungu family has appealed against the success or the verdict that was filed in last Friday in favor of the Zambian government. And then should have been yesterday when the Attorney General also made it clear to say there's an application to identify and pretty much so that the Zambian government can have an envoy that can go and look at Edgar Lungu's body for identification, because only the family has seen his body since his passing. So the Zambian government is requesting to have a look at his body. Lungu's family are free to be part of that visit. That's if the court grants the that application in favor of the government. So those are the two applications. But Shambhala says pretty much overall that application is going to be thrown out. Anyway, that's his opinion. But in other news, I'm pretty sure you remember this convention. This is at Mulungushi Conference Center. This happened in October, should be 2023. Anyway, I'll give you the details. So this is the day that Mao Sampa took over the PF leadership. It started off like just a normal meeting, and then it tilted into pretty much a party convention. And they've been in court. So it's the breakaway party, because when Mao Sampa took over the PF this day, he was working with Robert Chavinga. And then obviously they fell off with Robert Chavinga when Mao Sampa reconciled with Edgar Lungu right before he left for South Africa. They reconciled and pretty much he submitted to the Edgar Lungu camp. But the person that they had taken over the PF with here, Chavinga, decided to take Mao Sampa to court, and pretty much there were about 3 factions. So now there are 2 factions. So now today, they were in court, and Mao Sampa said something interesting with regard to overall this convention. So these are some of the pictures that were taken earlier on at court, where some of the PF central members of the central committee were part of the hearing. You can see Stephen Kampiongo there, and a number of interesting individuals. I'll give you details as the news proceeds. But this is the highlight of the hearing, because Mao Sampa was part of it. So which has been posted by Emmanuel Mwamba, and he says, this is Mao Sampa speaking in court earlier on. My PF convention, which elected me president, was illegal. Mao Sampa tells Lusaka High Court. Material Member of Parliament Mao Sampa wrote. That's a date they put up. This morning, I consented and submitted into High Court that the Patriotic Front PF convention that was held in 2023 and elected me as president needs to be nullified. That's Mao Sampa in court. This is so we can go back to another convention that we allow all that may have applied as candidates, and then those that wish to apply now to do so for inclusive participation. We trust then we trust then that the president we emerge that we will have the consensus for more stakeholders of our beloved party. I trust that this is the best route to take, and more given the unfortunate demise of President Edgar Lungu, only a person that knows that has zero support with the grassroots is likely to be against this proposition. Otherwise, no one should fear a new rematch football game when it is called. We await a judgment and we are ready. So proceed to the General Conference. Zikomo. Mao Sampa, MP and leader of opposition, PF and Tonse Alliance. So that was Mao Sampa's submission to court, simply stating to say the convention that he had called in 2023 was illegal and the court should nullify it. Now, I do not know how this works out when someone admits to an illegality. Maybe it's an internal matter. It does not call for any penalties in this case. But he's simply admitting to say he did an illegality there. And yeah, so let's wait and see how the verdict to come off that. But that's what's going on with regard to the PF convention. And obviously, this headline has been put up saying, if only development in the country started in 1964, like it is now, Zambia would have achieved more impressive milestones. So Chikankata, Member of Parliament, says so. And then someone has responded. That's David Thomas Ziambo, response to that caption to say if the development that is currently taking place in the UPND was what was taking place in 1964, Zambia would have achieved impressive milestones. So he says such an insult to Kenneth Kaunda and the many leaders who followed him. It's become painfully clear that when leaders falter, the chorus of praise often grows louder. So simply says, when you compare and contrast between the leadership from 1964 and now, I do not know where the praises are coming through as a response to that. And obviously, George Mutonga weighed in with regard to Mausampa's statement earlier on in court. He simply says Maus is a tool, so it can be used for whoever was as used for him. That's a caption there. And these are some of the highlights that came from court. You can see Brian Mundubile. He was also a member, one of the presidential candidates that was I found in earlier on. Should have been in 2022 when PF was likely to go for a convention before Mausampa took over the PF during that convention that I earlier showed you there. And obviously, diesel shortage crisis scandal. That's in the Daily Nation. Daily Mail says Bank of Zambia roll out 50 kwacha and 100 kwacha. That's as of 1st September, those notes will be in circulation. News diggers, Zamsa audit clears 2 pharmacies. They didn't resell USAID funded drugs. So it seems like that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, so we wait for what will play out in court in a few hours in South Africa, whether that appeal case will be thrown out or new dates will be announced for that verdict. Wait and see.